Since 8000 BC, dolls have been an important aspect of human culture, mostly used by children as their companion, and apart from movies that try to portray dolls as having dark tendencies, there are dolls that have actual hunting histories. Some of them have gone on to inspire blockbuster horror movies such as Annabelle and Chucky, and in this video we're gonna be talking about them and more, so sit comfortably as I dive you in and out of the world of haunted dolls.
Mandy the crying doll. Mandy, who's also known as, and no I'm not kidding, Canada's most haunted object, is a doll that was once the property of a woman named Lisa Sorensen. The doll was the property of her grandma. As a young woman, while cleaning the house, she had just had a baby of her own and didn't want her daughter anyway near the doll as she had noticed strange things about it. She had told the museum she donated the doll to that the doll gave her sleepless nights. She'll wake up in the night to hear the screams of a crying baby in the basement. And nope, it wasn't the baby she had just given birth to. It was nobody. Unsurprisingly, the doll started to scare Lisa, who got fed up and donated the doll to the museum, and after she donated the doll the night cries stopped. Wow, that doll's scary, I hear y'all say, but well, I'm gonna tell you, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Now Mandy sits in a locked cabinet, and her eyes reportedly following the visitors with her cracked porcelain face as well as the staff of the museum. In fact, when Mandy first came to the museum, the staff left her in the lab overnight when taking her pictures to add to the collection. When they came to work the next morning, they found the lab trashed, almost like a temper tantrum from a child, and since then, strange occurrences have only kept on happening. Small things would start disappearing without a trace, and even staff lunches would disappear from the fridge and appear in random drawers. Electronic devices would reportedly malfunction in the doll's presence, most especially cameras and camera smartphones, which will make their flashlights and lenses misbehave. The Ruby the haunted doll. There was something special about Ruby from the day she was brought into her family, and that something special was her ability to move around the house from room to room without any assistance whatsoever. No wonder her owners didn't wanna play with her, as she was so cursed that she made people who held her feel sick, sad and sometimes nauseous. Now Ruby might look cute with charming blue eyes and golden locks, but her story isn't pretty at all. And fun fact, or, oh, scary fact, many claim there's still something about the way she watches you with her porcelain eyes. The family crept out by the doll kept her hidden away, and it was passed down from generation to generation and put away in attics and basements, but they would constantly find her in other rooms than they put her in. Now more about Ruby. Ruby is a porcelain from the early 1900s, which means though she might look young and cute and chubby, in reality she's older than at least I could say all of you who are or will ever watch this video. She belonged to a young girl of the same family she now belongs to many years ago. The girl passed away while holding Ruby in her arms. The family once contacted a psychic medium once to get rid of the spirit that seemed to have allegedly attached itself to the doll, but this and many more other efforts seemed to have failed as the strange occurrences around the doll kept happening. Since then she's been creeping out every generation that inherited her. Not only by her moving mysteriously from one room to the other, but also because of the strange sounds that seem to be coming from the doll. However, after much, Ruby was given to the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and Occult, a place where dolls like her can be found.
Leta the Doll.
Leta the Doll, who's also known as the Doll from Hell, is a creepy-looking male figure, 200-year-old doll that was owned by a man named Kerry Walton. Walton claimed he found the doll under the floor of the porch in an abandoned house in Wagga Wagga in New South Wales, Australia, after he visited the area for his grandma's burial. Man, he must have had guts of steel to even look at that creepy poocher twice. Talk less of carrying it back home. If it were me, I'd have ran away without looking back. Anyways, Walton carried the doll back home to his family in Brisbane, Australia in 1972, where it has resided till this day. The origin of the name Leta the Doll came about when he was transporting it to its new home. He put the doll in the trunk of his car, only to hear the impossible while driving it back home. He heard from the trunk of his car, "Let me out," and scaringly only the doll was there. Man, if it were me, I would have wheezed on myself instantly, but anyways, Leta the doll went to stay at the home in Queensland and has been the cause of many strange things there. It's claimed this odd-looking doll's housing the spirit of a drowned boy and has some paranormal forces acting around it. It's been claimed by Walton that more than one person has seen the doll move before their eyes. Also, the doll reportedly left its footprint around the house as it moved. Pretty creepy if you ask me. Children in the area were terrified about the doll and said they could sometimes hear the doll move around. Yenai, so Leta did like enjoying some strolling. Leta and his owner Walton have appeared on numerous TV shows, and Leta has turned out to be something of a celebrity with a strong Facebook fanbase and over 1,400 followers. Good for a cause doll. Legend of Okiku. Okay, now enough of the troublesome and tantrum and walking dolls. And let's head on to Japan to find a cool doll that doesn't cause trouble but just likes to have a regular hair treatment. Oh, I read that wrong. Let's head on to Japan to see the only known cool doll that grows human hair. Wait, does a doll grow hair? Well, it's time to meet Okiku, the only known doll to grow hair. Okiku is a type of Ikimitsu doll, a type of traditionally dressed up dolls in Japan, often dressed in nice kimonos with dark glass eyes. The legend of Okiku entails that a teenager named Eikichi Suzuki bought a doll for his younger sister named Kikuku in the shopping street of Tanukikoji in the city. His younger sister grew very fond of the doll that was a gift from her brother, and they became inseparable. The porcelain doll had an ohapa hairstyle, which was common for traditional dolls, with cropped hair around the jawline and a short fringe over the forehead. It is around 40 centimeters tall and dressed in the traditional kimono. She carried it everywhere and slept with it every night, but soon her relationship with the doll will come to an abrupt end. The little girl died sadly after she was affected by yellow fever, which struck most of the country. The doll was placed at the family altar where the family prayed to it every day. Things went on as normal until one morning they went to the altar to find out the doll's hair had grown abruptly. At night they'll dream about Kikuko, and when they woke up in the morning they'll sometimes find the doll seated by their side without having put her there. Strange occurrences started to get more intense and scarier, with lights flickering, banging in the house, and strange voices and noises. Okay, now it seems this doll is beginning to seem naughty. This strange occurrences usually occurred around certain dates, like their dead daughter's birthday and the day she died. This led them to believe that the soul of their daughter was not at peace yet and had entered the doll. They had shamans come to the house and meet Okiku and confirmed it. They believed they had to appease the spirit in the doll. In 1938 the family offered the doll to the monks in the Manji temple. The monks of the temple noticed the doll's hair grew. They cut it the first time, but it grew back. Then the second time. Then the third time. Then they kept on cutting it, and cutting it, and cutting, up until this day. One intriguing fact is that the doll's hair has been tested by scientists and has been confirmed to be real human hair.
Ooh, Robert. Now this gentleman, sailor of a doll, is known as Robert. He's now housed in the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. Robert was once owned by painter, author and Key West resident, Robert Eugene Otto. The doll was reportedly manufactured by the Staff Company of Germany, before it was being purchased by Otto's grandfather while on a trip to Germany in 1904, and given to young Otto as a gift. According to legend, the doll has supernatural abilities that allow it move, change its facial expressions, and make giggling sounds. It's also claimed that the once family maid cursed the doll with magical powers after she was maltreated by the family, which resulted in its supernatural behaviors. According to local folklore, the doll has been the cause of numerous car accidents, bad luck, divorces, job losses, and even broken bones. Now that's one hell of a doll. As museum visitors supposedly experience post-visit misfortune for failing to respect the doll. In fact, the movie Chucky was actually inspired by the story of the Robert doll. But hey, do you think all this about Robert is real, or it's just a legend, and would you be brave enough to visit him? Let me know down in the comments below.
Annabelle. She's innocent looking, sitting in a glass bearing a hand-carved inscription of the Lord's Prayer, and beneath the case is a sign that reads, "Warning, positively do not open." Now many of us horror fans are familiar with the movie Annabelle and The Conjuring, and the doll Annabelle that haunts people. causing havoc in the movies. But these movies were actually inspired by a much more evil, much more scary doll, still called Annabelle. Now, unlike the fictional Annabelle, the real Annabelle looks more innocent on the outside, but is much more scarier on the inside. The story goes that Annabelle was a gift to a young nurse named Donna from her mother on her 28th birthday. Donna brought the doll back to her apartment that she shared with another young nurse named Angie. Not long after, they started noticing some strange things about the doll. The doll would be dropped in the living room only to be found in the bedroom with the doors shut. The two nurses reportedly found notes around the house reading "Help me." Furthermore, Angie's boyfriend, who was in the apartment one afternoon while Donna was out and heard rustling in her bedroom as if someone had broken in. Upon inspection, he found no sign of forced entry but found the Annabelle doll lying face down on the ground. Not long after, he felt searing pain on his chest and looked down to see bloody claw marks running across it. 2 days later they had vanished without a trace. The nurses later brought a medium to help solve their seemingly paranormal problem. The medium told them the doll housed the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins, whose body had been found years earlier on the site where their apartment building had been built. The medium claimed that the spirit just wanted to be loved and cared for. However, Ed and Lorraine Warren were later involved in the matter and claimed the doll housed a demonic spirit who needed a human host as opposed to the childish spirit the medium claimed lived in the doll. Many evil incidents have been attributed to this doll. Firstly, when Ed and Lorraine Warren carried the doll from its original place to their apartment, to the museum, their car brakes reportedly failed several times, only to work properly after Ed sprinkled holy water on the doll. Secondly, it was reported that a priest who visited the museum mocked Annabelle and her claimed demonic powers, only to be involved in a near-fatal car crash on his way home, claiming to have seen Annabelle in his rear-view mirror just before the accident. Years later, another visitor touched the glass of the Annabelle doll's case and laughed at how people were silly to believe in her story, only to be involved in a fatal motorcycle accident with his girlfriend who barely survived but claimed that at the time of the accident, the both of them had been mocking the doll. Okay, so after watching the video, do you think it's still a good idea having dolls? Do you think they're true stories? Which of them creeped you out the most? And will you be brave to visit any? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.